Hello. Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us for our Vino Shipper point of sale demo today. I'm Melissa and I'm joined by my colleagues Taylor and Paul.
Hello,
Today we're
everyone.
going, today we're going to walk through setting up the point of sale from registering it, making team member pins, and then navigating fully through the point of sale and all the features that it has. I have enabled the chat. I'm going to make sure it's on. If you have any questions today or comments, please use the chat icon at the bottom of your Zoom screen. You can enter your questions in there. We'll be monitoring that throughout and stop as needed. And then at the end, we can do a quick Q&A if there's some specific questions. But otherwise, we're going to dive right in. I'm going to share my screen. One second here. Alrighty, move that. Alrighty, so when you first log into your Vino Shipper platform, you're going to be on your dashboard page. To set up the point of sale, I would say the easiest way is to go to the account drop down and go to point of sale settings. So if you haven't already, you will need to download the point of sale app. It is available in the Apple App Store currently. You can download it by scanning the QR code here, or you can search for it in the Apple App Store just for the Vino Shipper um, icon. Once you've downloaded it, you can also come here quickly and set up. Well, first you would be able to see your devices. If you haven't registered any yet, you're not going to see anything here, but you can set your locations. So if you have a specific tasting room location you're going to be using this at, you can add a location. Or if you are going to be working an event that maybe is at a different location, you can set up that location of the event in here as well. What's nice about doing that is then your taxonomy is correct for the location that you're at. So I highly suggest doing that if you're going to pour at like a farmer's market or something like that. You can also enable your tips from here. So you can turn tips on or off. You can also adjust the tip percentages. So if you want to change the default percentages that pop up and how they're calculated, whether they're before or after taxes. I will mention that no matter what, there's always a option for no tip and a custom tip. And then from here, you can choose which product catalogs you want to show up in the point of sale. So if you have, let's say, an event where you're only going to be pouring a few wines, maybe you want to create an event catalog in your profile. And then you want to make sure that you toggle that on, that you can access that. Or maybe you want to toggle some off, etc. So you can play around with which catalogs will pop up on your point of sale. And this will make a little more sense later when I show you the catalogs in the point of sale. And then if you're going to be using a receipt printer, you are able to edit a little bit of the receipt. So you can change the receipt image and you can also edit some footer text, put some cute little comment at the bottom like thank you or something. Um, if you would like to use a receipt printer, you can also click here and see which supported receipt printers you can use with our point of sale. But if you also need some help with that, you could always email us at customer service and we can point you in the right direction. But after you've downloaded the app, the next step is going to be that you need to register your device. Now, to do that, I would go to my team members because you're going to need to use a login email to do the initial registration of the point of sale. So that could be you yourself, the manager, one of your team members, they could do that registration. But when you register, you're going to use the email that is listed to log in, but you need to also set a PIN. So in order to do that, you will go ahead and click on these three icon ellipses here and click edit. And then you need to set a PIN. I would suggest asking each team member what their four-digit PIN that they would like is so it's unique to them and they remember it. Definitely can't have everybody having 1, 2, 3, 4, so they do need to have unique PINs. I'm going to make sure that mine is my unique pin. So when I go on, everyone knows my pin now. Um, all right, so that's the initial kind of setup is you need to make sure that you have the pin, also enabling the point of sale. So from here, the team members, you want to make sure that you have this toggled on the team members that you would like to be able to use the point of sale. So you'll toggle that on and set their pin. All right, now I'm going to quickly change and share my iPad. One moment.
Any questions so far? Um, a lot of the back end stuff is run from, this side of the admin side, but once this is set up, products are in, everything syncs over to the point of sale and you're ready to go.
Oh,
So it's a quick setup. Many of you that already have products in your VinoShipper account will already be able to log in and all your products will be in there. If you're running a club with us, all your club members and cards will be in there as well. I will say if you have downloaded the VinoShipper app before, just make sure you go in and get the most updated version. We just we're releasing new versions every 2 or 3 weeks that come with a lot of improvements. So just to make sure you're on the latest version.
yeah, thank you for that. Just making sure you can all see my screen. Yes.
All good.
Okay, great. So this is where you will put in that email address to do the initial registration. You'll
And
use
Melissa, just to confirm, you're now on a iPad, is that right?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I'm on an iPad. I can share my iPhone later too. If we can do a quick run through on the iPhone. Um, okay, so then you're using that email address that you used to log into Vino Shipper, same password. And you're going to go ahead and click login. And then it will ask you to do a name your device. So I would suggest if you're having multiple iPads in your tasting room or something, doing like iPad 1 or bar iPad or something like that, so you know which one is which. I'm just gonna put my initials, register device. Alrighty, and then that will bring you to the pin screen. So that initial registration doesn't need to happen every time. It's just initially registering the device, and then from there you will be logging in with the pin screen. So let me put in my pin here. And it will pop up to the cart. We will absolutely talk about the cart, but quickly I want to go to the settings menu. So if I click on menu in the corner, I can go to settings. I like to just set my settings initially so I don't have to worry about it as I go. For the pin screen, because this is a demo, I'm going to turn off the idle timeout. But if you would like, it to lock if somebody hasn't touched the iPad for, a few minutes, you can absolutely set that up. If you have a busy tasting room, that might be something you want to do. I'm going to do never for the demo just so it doesn't keep locking. And then auto lock after each transaction, exactly what it sounds like. If you have a lot of people using the iPad and they need to uniquely put in their PIN, you might want to have auto lock after each transaction on. But again, for this demo, I'm going to turn that off. It's going to show me the device that I am on here. Next thing is the location. So again, if you are doing an event, you can also change the location from here. So I could click add location and I would be able to search, any address and pull up that location and then the tax will be correct based on where I'm at. I'm going to stick with what I've got here. And then product catalog. So this will show all the different catalogs that you have set up, but what you're choosing here is the kind of default catalog that'll show up in your cart. Oftentimes that might be main catalog or a tasting room catalog. So you can go ahead and set that there. The next thing is connecting a card reader. So we use Stripe card readers. We can absolutely send you one if you do not yet have one. You can email customer service at vinoshipper.com and request a card reader. We do have to have a Stripe card reader, so you can't use a different card reader with our point of sale. To connect it, once you have it, you're going to click connect. You're going to turn on your card reader. One thing I like to mention is our card readers have four green dots that show up when it's fully charged. And as the battery depletes, the green dots go away. So that's how you know kind of where your battery life is at. Oh, let me turn on my Bluetooth. Rookie mistake. Okay, let's try again here. Alrighty, so it found my card reader. I'm going to click connect, and it should quickly connect my card reader here. There we go. And then same scenario with a receipt printer. If you do use one of our supported receipt printers, I actually do not have one, so I'm going to skip that step, but same idea. So from here, you can also submit feedback if so, if you find that you have a glitch, something's not working, or there's something you would like to see on the point of sale, you can absolutely submit feedback to us there. That's how we've built this entire point of sale, so we do take that very seriously. And then you can also go back to the lock screen from here, and then you could also completely log out and you would have to re-log in using your email and password. Um, from there, I am going to hop over to our customers menu. Um, so I think the main base of having data for you to use is adding customers into your point of sale. You can absolutely ring up guest customers, but I think the most powerful thing is having their data. And we've made it very easy for you to capture a customer's information. So we have a scan ID function. So if someone's in front of you and you want to, get their name, date of birth, address, the quickest way to do that is asking them if you can see their ID. Let me make sure my camera's set here. Alrighty. And then you will go ahead and click on Scan ID. You can use the back barcode of an ID, and it will auto-populate all of the information that is available on the ID. Now, of course, there's not an email address on the ID, so you will need to manually enter that. Let me just quickly put one in. Whoops. And then a phone number. So that is, again, not available on the ID. But otherwise, I've just added a customer in about 5 seconds. Um, there we go. I don't know why it didn't populate that exactly, but there we go. And so from here, what I could do is quickly ask the customer, is your address on your ID the correct shipping address? You can still make sure you update the customer information if anything is not accurate on their ID. And then I can also from here change their customer type. So let's say this is a wholesale customer. You can convert them to wholesale from here. Um, oh, see, it's doing that weird AirPlay thing. Hmm. Okay.
As a reminder, we are in a staging environment.
Yeah.
And so our development team is continuously working on this. We do not push out any updates prior to the weekend, and we do not do updates when you're actively using it. So this only happens to us. It will
Yeah.
not happen to you. I have one available. If you want me to share.
Yeah, I was gonna say I got a real customer to pop up. Again, that is not gonna happen to you. That is just in our on our side. Um, so let's just reset. So the customer info here, what's really great is when you're looking at the customer's information, you will see under his name there are some tags. This is a new feature that we've come out with after the first of the year. You're able to create tags for the customers, and you can create any kind of tags. So an automatic tag that pops up is the club member tag, or if they're a wholesale customer, that'll pop up. But the tags underneath where it says huddle and test, those are ones that we've created. You can do like cab lover, dog lover, anything that maybe is a unique thing for your business that you want to kind of segment your customers with. So that's a pretty fun um, new feature that we have. I can also see their orders from here. So if a customer comes in, let's say they're a club member or they've placed an order online to pick up, I can pull up their customer profile and see what orders they have that maybe need to be picked up or orders that are going to be shipping shortly or have shipped, etc. So we can see their order history here. Now, again, this is a test environment, so a bunch of our orders are canceled, but yours would most likely say delivered, things like that. But if this person comes in and says, "Hey, I'm here to pick up my wine," what I can do is I can click on this top button here and do pick up order pick list. This will show me the orders that need to be picked up and the products that are in those orders. I love this for if, the orders are in the back or something and you need to carry this back there with you and see what you need to pull for the customer. So I could go ahead and, go grab these wines and then mark them complete and they will update as picked up. So that is a really fun feature. The next thing
This
that go ahead.
I'll jump in and say this is a popular tool for wine people using running wine clubs through VinoShipper. We all have people that don't pick up product. They may come once a year. And this is a very good tool for that. You can see exactly what they're owed. Um, and if they want to buy more things, you're going to have their card on file as well. So this is a really helpful tool for club management.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, the next thing I'm going to look at is our notes section. So our notes section here is kind of a fun, again, kind of new feature. So we've always been able to add notes, but now what you can do is create a note. And let's say I'm going to put cab lover.
So this is in our latest update. This will be coming out in the next few days. Like Melissa said, we've always had notes, but we've now updated them to be even more helpful.
Yeah. So now what you can do is you can create a note, but you can also highlight it as an alert, or you can pin the note. So I'll show you both of those. So if you highlight it as an alert, what will happen is every time you pull up the customer's account, you will see this alert button. I can click on that and it tells me what the alert is. So maybe I know that they always come in every year on their anniversary or something like that. I think this is a function that, depending on your business and depending on what you offer, you could create alerts for various things. Maybe they always come in and have a pizza and a bottle of wine or something like that. The more information you have about your customer, the more, powerful that is. Um, and then the next thing I wanted to show quickly is a pinned note. Let's do big buyer, and then we'll pin that note. So I'll click save. So now this note, because I pinned it, when I look at the notes, it is the one that kind of is the sample text, if you will. So that I'll always be able to see that. So you can use this in a few different ways. Again, you have that alert option and then you have that pinned note option. So I think this is a very cool tool that you can utilize in a lot of ways. The next thing is stored credit. So if you maybe are refunding a partial part of an order and you don't want to send it back to the credit card, you want to just hold it as stored credit, and then the next time they come to purchase, that stored credit automatically is applied. You can adjust their balance here. Maybe you want to give them $20 worth of credit because they, you know, bought wine and something, various reasons you might want to give them credit, but you have the ability to do that. One note about stored credit is it will automatically be applied to their next order. So it's not like a pick and choose, use the stored credit. It will automatically be applied. Um,
A new update there is that we also now include the stored credit history. So
mm,
you'll be able to see exactly how they got to their account balance. If they said they should have a certain amount, they may not have remembered they got an order and it was applied to the last one. So that we're just trying to provide as much information as possible. So the tasting room manager can set up the point of sale, but then all the tasting room associates or employees can just jump into the point of sale and be able to work with it and have all the information. We kept a lot of information in our admin profile before, so on the web, but now we're moving a lot of it into the point of sale.
Yeah. That way you're not having to, give your team members a million notes about things. They're already kind of in here on the customer profile. Yeah, I think that's a really nice tool. The next thing, of course, is going to be their credit card that you have on file. You can remove their current card, or if they have the same card and they just need to edit the expiration date, you can do that. So that's great too. You don't have to ask the customer for the entire credit card information again. You can just update that expiration date. Um,
This will come in from a club member. So if a club member joins, as you see here, you get their card on file. That's going to be stored in the point of sale. Another way of doing it is when a transaction is made, we save that card to a customer profile, and that's used. Also, you can just keep a customer card on file if you want. And we'll go through why this is beneficial later on.
yeah, absolutely. The next thing that we have here is their addresses, of course. So they have their default addresses of where you've maybe shipped to in the past, their mailing address, their club membership addresses, and then their address book. So let's say maybe they've been shipping things to other places. Maybe they've sent shipments to family and friends. So you will have their address book of all of the places that they have sent orders to in the past. Um, and then the next thing here is the activity log. Um, this is, I think, somewhat new too as well. So this will show, they've been added to a club by X team member. The customer profile has been updated with a tag, etc. And again, this is another reason why it's important to give everyone a unique login so you can see which team member has done specific activities for this customer. Um, I don't know. Yeah, so you can also filter through different activities. So if you want to just look at their club activity, maybe they've, joined the club and left the club a few times. Maybe you want to see that kind of succession. You can look at it that way. So you can filter a few different ways through the activity log as well. Um, and then next thing is their club membership. So if you have clubs set up in Vino Shipper, you will be able to add them to the clubs from here specifically. You can also see if they're already in a club, you can change their preferences. So maybe they've historically been a pickup member, but they'd like to switch to a ship member. You can do that by just toggling back and forth here. Um, a lot of people will maybe join a club, but they only want to be in a club for a certain amount of time. Let's say they do like a year or something. You can set how many releases that they have remaining. So if you run your club 3 times a year and this person says, "Hey, I want to sign up just for a year," maybe you set the releases to three. Or if they're ongoing club member, which I think is probably the most common, you can set them to ongoing. Um, you can also see when they joined the club. You can remove them from the club as well. So a lot of club management can happen right here from this customer profile. Um, what do you think, guys? Any questions? Any comments?
We had one question, but I typed out a response. The question was around subscriptions, which is something that we're actively looking into.
Yeah. Yep. All right, so from here, I could, of course, save their club preferences, but let's say that they didn't have a club yet. I could add them to a club easily. Um, I could choose which club I'm adding them to. I could set it as a gift. So if somebody's purchasing this for them, and if that is the case, you would want to do this as a gift and then click the gift recipient, put in the gift recipient's information. I love using this for like holiday marketing, putting out an email blast to maybe your club members that you currently have and say, hey, would you like to purchase a club membership as a gift this holiday season for, a loved one? I think it's a really nice and kind of a unique gift. I would be excited if somebody bought me a wine club for a year. Um, so, yeah, you can set up the club from here, whether they're ship or pickup. You would be able to set the shipping address. Again, the release is remaining, and whether or not you want to send a welcome email to them. It's automatically toggled on, but if for some reason maybe they're just switching clubs and they're like, I don't need the welcome email, you could toggle that off. All right, I'm going to go back here. But from here, if we want to just go ahead and add them to the cart, I'm going to jump to that next so we can look at the cart. And so from the customer profile, I can click add to cart here. And what that has done is brought this customer's information into our cart. So let's say he came in, I updated his info. Maybe he picked up some wine club pickups and then he wants to hang out and taste. I would add him to the cart here and maybe he's going to have some white wine by the glass. I could do +2, add them to the cart. Now, if they're hanging out and they're not ready to leave, I might, want to start kind of creating a tab for them, but not processing it. So we have done exactly that. We have created tabs. So for Johnny here, I'm going to do save to tab. I'm going to click create new tab and it's going to fill out the tab name with his name. I can see what kind of customer he is. If he wanted to say, hey, put this card on my tab. He could give me a new card. I could use the card on file. I could manually enter a card to save his tab. You don't have to have a credit card to save a tab, but that's up to you if you want to require that. So I'm going to click done on that. And so my tab has been created for Johnny, and now my cart is kind of back zeroed out so I can help my other customers that are in the tasting room. Um, so let's say we have someone come in, and maybe this person is a guest customer, and they just walk in and they say, hey, I just want to buy a bottle of Merlot. I go ahead and add it to the cart. It looks like this has a minimum order quantity of 6. So I guess he's going to buy a half a case. Good customer, right? Maybe he's being a little like, I'm in a hurry, I gotta go. Um, so he wants to pick up and he wants to check out. I want to capture his information, of course, but he's saying, I'm in a hurry, I gotta go. So I'm gonna do card reader. If I find my demo card, which is missing. Oh no, here it is. Sorry, usually I have that out already. All right. Maybe he's going to do no tip because he's just ready to get in and out. I'm going to grab the card reader, tap the card. Not liking my card currently. There we go. It's going to process that credit card. It's a little slow because it's in staging. So the order is complete. Now, this is my favorite way to capture a customer's information who's in a rush and doesn't want to give you all their information. So if they're a guest customer, I like to say, hey, let me just email you your receipt. If I email his receipt, I quickly ask his name. I'm going to say it's Paul Buyer. And I'm going to just quickly ask him for his email. And now I sort of sneakily created a customer profile with him. So I sent him his email, and now without him really wanting to sit there and give me all of his information, I've at least started a base customer profile for him. So now if I go back to customers, I just want to quickly show you. If I look up Paul, I've got Paul Buyer. Now, it doesn't have a ton of information, but we've started his customer profile. And this is where I would probably go to my notes and say something like, six bottle buyer in a hurry, something like that. And that would let the customer or my team members know if he comes back in and they are able to chat with him and get some information, they know what he's already purchased. There is a customer history starting to be created for them. So I think it's a very useful tool to be able to email someone their receipt. Um, but let's pop back to the cart. So from here, I want to chat about tabs a little bit more. If you look at the top of the cart here, you'll see a box that has the number one in it. If I click on that, I can see my tab that I had created earlier for Johnny. I can also add new tabs from here. So if I have customers coming in, I can click plus a new tab. Maybe I don't have a ton of info on them. Maybe I just want to create the tab name based on where they're sitting. So like, let's say two top outside. And if there's a service note, you could, maybe you overheard them talking about that they're celebrating a birthday. You could say it's a birthday so that if your other team members hop in to help you, they have information about this customer as well. So I'm going to do two top outside birthday. Maybe I don't know who they are yet, or maybe I do recognize them and I want to search them as a customer. And I'm like, I know that guy. I can search them that way and add them to the tab as well. Oh, let's just quickly look for somebody. Megan. Um, so I can just start creating the tab for them. From here, I can click done or I can open the tab. So I have started creating the tab based on the tab base here rather than the cart. So I'm going to click open this tab. And what that's going to do is pop that open into my cart. So now I've got Megan's information in the cart. Um, let's say I saw them grab a hat that they put on their table. So I know they're going to be getting a hat. And then they're going to be doing some tasting fees. So I've got a tasting fee here. Um, I can do two people as a tasting fee. Maybe you want to comp a tasting fee for them because you overheard it was a birthday. You could click comp, it would comp that tasting fee for them. Now, because I added two and click comped, it comped both. If I only wanted to comp one, what I would do is click back on there, change that to one, update the cart. So that one has been comped. And then I would add another tasting fee, and that tasting fee has not been comped. So you have a lot of flexibility on how you want to, comp things and how you want to start building your cart out. Um, so let's go from here. Let's do exit tab. So I clicked exit tab because they're not finished with their tasting. So now I've got two in those tabs there. Uh,
Melissa, we have a couple tabs open, so do you want to jump into just that section
mhm.
and see? So we you can use the point of sale on iPads or iPhones, and that means you can have multiple things running at once. We tabs live on each device, but they can also be accessed from across devices. So I've entered a few tabs in there as well. So if we go to all tabs, then we can see all the tabs open at the winery, and we can do a few actions between those.
Yeah, so this is really great. So let's say, I see Taylor is helping someone, but one of maybe the people he was helping previously is ready to check out. I can hop in and take over a tab for him, and I can either completely take over the tab and host them and, take the sales attribute for him, or I can just open the tab for him and get that completed because he hosted them and I'm just finishing it up for him. So you have both options here. Take over tab puts the tab into my name now. So it is now considered one of my tabs. Or I can do open tab. And what that will do is keep that tab under his sales attribute, but just allows me to finish up the transaction for him. So let's say they're ready to go. I'm just going to go ahead and do checkout for him. I'm going to do cash on this one, show you we've got our cash, and it'll let us know the change that they are expected, and also that the receipt has automatically been emailed to the customer email address that is on file. So if there is a customer attached and there is an email address, it'll automatically be emailed to them. But if somebody else wants a copy of the receipt, you can email the receipt to them from here. You can, of course, print the receipt if you have a receipt printer. You can also use share PDF, or you can do view order. View order is handy if you just ring somebody up for a couple bottles of wine and you're kind of on autopilot ringing them up, and then you need to go to the back and pull the wine, and you're like, what did I just ring up? I like using this to view the order, take this to the back, grab the wines that I need, and come back and put them in a bag or a box for them. Um, so yeah, so let's go back to tabs real quick. So now I can see my tabs on the top, all the other tabs at the bottom. You can filter through a different kind of some different ways of seeing them. You can see just your tabs, tabs that are on this device. So maybe a few team members are logged into this device and I want to see all of the tabs that are on this specific device. I can do that. Um, or again, in this location. So if you have multiple locations, you might want to just see the tabs that are in that current location that you're in. Um, then I can also uncheck these filters. Um, Yeah, so these tabs are pretty powerful. I had a producer recently talk to me about adding tabs for people when they walk in and creating them so that they're kind of already got the transaction rolling. And I think that's a great way to kind of have nice turnover and speed because we all know when people are done with their tasting, then they're ready to leave, they get a little impatient. So if you've already started building their transaction, it just helps with that customer experience a lot.
And if you can take their card at the beginning of the transaction and then just say thanks for coming and charge them as they go out the door. So it's really
Yeah.
makes it, you can have a really nice white glove service, especially if they're a club member, their card's already on file. They can come in, drink their wine, purchase some things, and walk out the door without having to take their wallet out. So it's a really nice experience for the customer.
Yeah. So you think we should do some shipping orders now?
Yes, let's do it. Let's do a shipping
Okay,
order.
okay, awesome. So
And
let's say, oh, go
I just want to
ahead.
highlight that's a benefit of our point of sale above some others out there is that you can ship and do pickups. So pickups, you can have all your items in here, but then you can also ship directly from this point of sale to any of the states that are available in your account. So you don't have to run two systems. You don't have to push these, go create your own UPS labels. If you are a Vino Shipper client and you're using us for the states, then you can come in here and you can ship directly to customers from the point of sale.
Yeah, absolutely. That is certainly what makes us unique from the other point of sales. And all right, so let's say we have somebody come in and maybe I do know who they are and they want to do a shipment. I can, from the cart level here, I can look up the customer from here. Uh, Let's do Let's do Taylor because I know you've got some info in here.
Top one's got shipping address.
Okay. All right. So we're going to do add to cart. So, and then let's say he wants to get some different bottles of wine. Going to add some wines. We also have this handy dandy +6, +12 here. So if somebody's buying, a case or something, you don't have to go through and tap that way. You can also override the price from here if you needed to. So let's say we were giving him a special price. You can also obviously add discounts. We'll show you that in a minute. But if you wanted to override the price, you could do that directly from here. So I'm gonna add he's getting a case. So let's say I want to give him a discount because he's purchasing a case. We have adjust discounts. if you've already got discounts created in your profile that are automatic discounts, they will apply in the point of sale unless you have made them so they're only web-based. But so you don't have to worry about coming in and creating all the discounts that you've already created for the web. You can bring those all over to the point of sale if you would like. Um, but I'm going to go ahead and give him 50% off. We've got one set up. None of the items and okay, of course. Okay. Reset to default. All
So
right.
errors like that will pop up if you have them set for exclude from discounts, or if they don't
Yeah.
meet the criteria. The half off was only on when I set up that half off discount. Sorry, Melissa, it was only applied to glasses of wine. So
Oh,
that is why. And you can write it. I should have wrote a better description, but that's what those discounts are for. They're kind of quick ones. So family and friends, industry, those are set up as coupons, and so you can just tap them and they go. We could probably do a custom discount in this one for half off.
yeah. So let's do a product discount.
And this is one of the settings in the point of sale. So if you do not want tasting room associates creating their own custom discounts, you can block this feature. It kind of means if there's a custom discount to do, they have to go get a manager who logs in with those rights, and then they can do the custom discounts. So there are controls around these things if you're running a larger tasting room with a lot of employees.
Yeah. Yes. So you can set up a lot of different discounts, and we have a great help doc that you can access to kind of see the different discounts and also the hierarchy of how discounts are applied as well. So if anyone would like to see that, we'll show you how at the end to find that. Um, okay, so we've set our discounts. Let's say Taylor is in front of me and he's like, I think I'm gonna ship, but I need to, what do you think the rate's gonna be? We can ask him quickly for his address or a zip code that maybe he's going to be sending this to. So let's say he's sending it to somebody else and he wants to send it to Manhattan and he wants to know what this is going to cost him. We can see from here the rates that it's going to be. So UPS ground for a case from we're shipping out of California to New York is going to be 88.48. So maybe he's like, all right, yeah, I can live with that. Let's do that. We would go ahead and quote him that price. And then we go down to our cart and we do ship.
So just at the bottom right, you may have seen that we just slide from pickup to ship. It's as easy as that. Once you have a customer in your cart, we need a customer because you have to ship to a customer. And you need the information. You just slide it over to ship, and then we're going to continue with checkout.
Yep. And then once you get to checkout here, you can see his information, the order destination. So again, if he wants to change where he's shipping that to, we can add a new address, put in the address of where he wants to ship this order to, and we would be able to click save on that. You're also able to do a UPS access point. So if you have a customer's address in and they're like, I'm never home to sign for wine. A UPS access point is a super powerful tool. It will take their address that they have on file and pull up by geolocation the closest access points to their home. You can see where they're at. You can see their hours, and you can ship it directly there. This will cut down on a lot of returned shipments. Of course, somebody has to be home to sign for alcohol shipments, and many people are not home. So if you can ship to an access point, I suggest it. And I believe it also drops the shipping charge down a touch.
It
Yeah.
does. It takes around
Yeah.
$3 to $4 off the shipping charge by shipping to a business address instead of a residential.
Yeah. So I would always recommend at least asking your customer if they'd be interested in doing that. And they will still get their tracking information and know that was delivered and they'll know to go pick it up. So,
Yeah,
um,
I believe most will hold a package for about 5 days is a
yeah.
good mark on that. So there's a little bit more of a wiggle time for picking up those packages as well. I know I've been guilty of that.
Yeah. So if I look at the right side here, I can just review the cart. Now, you'll see on packaging and shipping, there is kind of a little arrow. When there's an arrow like that, that means that you can change the cost. So maybe you want to charge a packaging fee. Maybe maybe this is going into a very special box and you're charging $5 packaging fee or something. You could do that. You could also update the shipping charge if you wanted to from here. So I could override it, give them free shipping, which I don't really recommend, but I could do flat rate shipping, etc. So there is some flexibility from this portion of the cart that updates some information without having to back out to where you started. But I'm going to go ahead and place this order and I'm going to use the card that he has on file. The other thing I want to quickly show you is what if I say to him, do you want me to use the card on file? And he says, no, that card, I don't use that anymore. We could use the card reader, but we could toggle on update saved card. And then we could use the card reader and get his new card information. And then that would automatically save to his account. So I'll just quickly do the
So once
card.
you choose the payment device, the payment type, then the tip screen comes up. That's also the confirmation screen. There's nothing that can be edited on there. So that's when you can turn this around to the customer. They can see exactly what they're getting, where it's going, what speed, final price, and then they can choose whether or not they want to add a tip. So that's when you can turn it around to a customer to have them finish off the transaction.
Yeah, and I wanted to quickly show how to adjust inventory from the point of sale, and then we'll go look at kind of orders and order history. Um, Obviously, in tasting rooms, you're opening wines to pour throughout the day. At the end of the day, one of your team members can come in and mark the wines that you have poured. Maybe you did samples that day, etc. So instead of having to use the old school method of marking on like a spreadsheet of what you poured that day, you can come in here and you can adjust your inventory. So let's say the Merlot. I'm going to click the Merlot. I'm going to click on inventory here. I'm going to hit edit inventory and it's going to be adjust by. So I'm going to do two and then I'm going to hit subtract. This is a iPhone Apple thing. So you press the number and then you do subtract. And then I'm going to click the reason. So I'm going to say these are the wines that we poured today. You can put an optional note in. Maybe you want to put, I don't know what happened there. There we go. Done. You could put a note in, wines poured today. You don't really need one, but you could put one in if you would like. And then hit save. And then that has adjusted our inventory. You can do a product inventory report from the web platform. So you could do that weekly or monthly to reconcile your inventory and know what was poured. There's a lot of different options for inventory. So if it's not just pours, we have a lot of different reasons here. Maybe you sent one for a competition or a donation, used it for events. Of course, sometimes wines get spoiled, etc. So you have a lot of options to track your inventory here. And I think this is, again, a super powerful tool. Have kind of less platforms to use if you have your true inventory and are doing inventory management in Vino Shipper. Do we have any questions before we pop over to the orders screen?
Yeah, we just have one question about the card readers on POS device capabilities. Stripe is our reader. Currently, we only use the Stripe M2 card reader. If you purchased a card reader directly from Stripe, it would not be compatible with our point of sale. Um, I appreciate the question, and we're always looking to develop. So I'll bring this one over to our development team to see what they think.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, all right, next I want to pop to the orders menu. So again, the menu in the bottom left, if we click on orders here. So I can see currently where it says this device, it's black. So it's just showing me the orders I've done on this device. I can hit a different filter here and I can see guest orders. I can see shipping orders. I can see orders by status. So maybe I have open orders that I'd like to see, not guessed. There we go. These are open shipping orders that we have. I can look at orders by order date. Let's say a customer comes in and they want to look up an order, but they were a guest customer and they just have the last four digits of their card, you can look that way. So there's a lot of different ways you can kind of navigate through the orders here. I also love at the top corner, there's this little broom that kind of clears your filters. You can also do the filters from the filter button here, and look at all the different kind of filters you have here. So I'm going to turn off this device and I'm going to do open orders. I'm going to hit OK. So now I can see all my open orders based on all the different devices, also shipping orders. And then if I needed to, I could click on an order, review that order. Depending on how the order was placed, I can possibly cancel that order. The other thing that you can do is hold an order. So if a customer comes in and they place an order for shipping, and right after, like let's say Taylor, right after he said, "Oh, you know what? I'm actually going to be traveling for 2 weeks. Can you not ship that right away?" You can come here and click hold order and set the date of shipping to, a desired date that they're going to be around. Um, so now I've put his order on hold. It's not shipping right away. It's showing me where it's shipping to and what's going in there, etc. Um, yeah, so this is a pretty powerful tool for you to be able to see. Also, maybe your tasting room staff wants to come in and maybe they're the same people that might package your orders for fulfillment. They can come in and start looking at orders, pulling inventory, etc. So, depending on your setup, this might work for you in many different ways. But again, we're just trying to bring all the information from the web platform to the point of sale slowly. So it's really a useful tool for you there. What do you guys think? I felt like I was on a marathon. Was that pretty good?
This is great. Any
Yeah,
questions?
I think it was great.
If you have come through. Um, I mean, the people that are joining this, you may know, you may already be using the point of sale. This is included with your account, along with all our other tools. There's no additional fee to use our point of sale. We charge simply on transaction fees. I want to thank everyone that joined today. If you want to get started with our point of sale, please feel free to write into customer service at vinoshipper.com and we'll send you a complimentary card reader. We like to do that just because it's a low cost way to get started. You download the app, you connect our complimentary card reader, and you can begin using the point of sale. It's that easy. Your products will be in there. If you don't have a VinoShipper account, then please also write in and let us know, and we can help you get one set up. We can have you up and running in just a couple of days. So it's pretty easy. And I should say, when you write into customer service, please include your name, your winery, a phone number, and a good shipping address for that card reader, and we'll get them sent out as soon as possible.
Yeah, absolutely. And kind of piggybacking on that, if you would like a team training for your team members or something like that, same thing, you can request that and we'd be happy to do that for you specifically.
And this is all included with your account. We don't charge extra for trainings. We
Right.
want to get you up and running to the best of your ability, and that's not something that we're going to charge you for. So if you're bringing any information over from a separate system, we will also onboard that information, no cost on our side, and we do that via our internal team. So we really want to make this as easy as possible for you to have all your information in one place, ship out of the same place, do your compliance out of the same place, inventory in one location, data in one location. That's what we're building this platform for, and that's what we're going to continue to build it for in the future. So if you are working with us, you will have seen the development that we've done over the past few years, and if you're just joining us, then welcome. And I hope that you use our system and you get online and see all the good work that we're doing.
Yeah, and play around with it. It's pretty fun.
Well said.
Yep. Thank you all for joining us today. Yeah, we hope this was useful and we will see you soon.
Yep.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye,
Thank you
guys.
all.